Okay, so welcome in everybody. We're broadcasting live at Shantivilla Institute at the Conyers location. And this today is World Agnihotra Day. And this is a day that a lot of people celebrate globally across the world about performing Agnihotra, which is a basic home of fire that purifies the planet and it heals people. So thank you so much for joining us here at the Conyers, Georgia location. Shantivilla Institute. Our main location is in Tuskegee, Alabama, and we're closed for renovations, but we are here and serving um, people that would like to come and learn about the ancient technology of Agnihotra here at the Conyers location. Okay, so we'll get started with the Varuti mantra. Swaha. Agnihotra Mama Swaha. Vayaveda Mama Swaha. Suryaya Mama Bhagava Swaha. Prajapatiye Mama. Okay, so I'm ready to get started. Let me just put a little bit more ghee on the fire so it'll burn continuously. So let me go ahead and get that going. Okay, so now we're ready to start the talk. And so, World Agnihotra Day is a really good day for us to celebrate the gift of Agnihotra to the world, to mankind. It was resuscitated from the Vedas by the Kalki Avatar, the Paramasad Guru Sri Gajana Maharaj, as a gift to mankind to deal with all the things that are happening today in many places all across the world. And so, Agnihotra is an ancient Vedic practice. It's based on technology, ancient Vedic technology, and it is a way to purify the atmosphere and clean up the planet of pollution. And so, as we know today, on World Agnihotra Day, we've discussed on many of the episodes here on the show that pollution affects every corner of the world. So, today's talk, we're going to talk about how Agnihotra connects the community. And of course, when you are talking about cleaning up pollution, when you do that, then you are connecting communities and bettering the communities because pollution affects humans in all sorts of ways. It affects the animals and, of course, the ecosystem. And as humans, we are part of this process. All these processes that happen on this planet Earth, which is our home. So we are happy to share in this celebration today on Worldwide Agnihotra Day and really talk about the wonderful gift that God has given to all of us um, of Agnihotra, performing Agnihotra to bring about a purification for the planet and resetting of the planetary energy system. So, as those of you who perform Agnihotra, or if you're new to it, Agnihotra is a way to reset the planetary energy system because the pollution that affects the planet on every corner of the world, it affects the animals and the water and It affects the weather patterns. It affects the soil. And as we know, our soil is really messed up. There are many places that cannot grow healthy food because the soil is messed up. So you have electromagnetic pollution. You have changes with how the earth is spinning. And so Agnihotra, which is the basic homifier, is a way to reset the planetary energy system. And so as a result, when we perform Agnihotra, which is timed to the circadian rhythm of nature, we perform it at sunrise and sunset. This is a way to also heal humans because we are part of this process of nature, of all the animals. We talk about the ecosystem, but we are part of that too. So when the earth is suffering with pollution and changing of the weather patterns, that means that we too are suffering as humans. So with Agnihotra is a beautiful way to put the balance back and to clean up the pollution. So Agnihotra is, we perform this at sunrise and at sunset. And so, and we say Sanskrit mantras when it's those two times, sunrise and sunset, and that is the basic homifier. So at sunrise, there's a cascading of energies, ethers, and electricities that interact with the pyramid. So in the pyramid, we put in dried cow dung that is smeared with ghee. Ghee is basically clarified butter. It's unsalted butter that has been boiled. Okay. And then we use brown rice, just simple brown rice. And that is the what we put into the fire. And so at sunrise, it would say Suryaya Swaha, Suryaya Dam Namama, Prajapataye Swaha, Prajapataye Dam Namama. And so every time we say Swaha, we put in a little bit of brown rice. And so this is part of putting back nutrients into the atmosphere. So like we mentioned before, the sun itself and the solar system interact with the pyramid. And so we're thrusting nutrients back into the atmosphere. And so this is the process of resetting the planetary energy cycle. It goes 8 miles up and it's an 8-mile radius. And so these are things that have been set forth to do long time ago. This is a very ancient technology that now people are now realizing is a way to help with the pollution problem. And so when we talk about pollution, we're not just talking about polluted soil and the polluted air and the polluted water, which is very important, but we're also talking about our minds and our hearts. So Agnihotra is a way to guide you back to love and to fill your heart with love, because pollution most certainly affects the minds, as we know that pollution affects the behavior of animals. It affects how our water flows. It affects how the wind flows. It affects everything. So how our thoughts flow, so too we're affected by pollution. So when you're performing Agnihotra, you're able to affect your mind, because we are creatures of nature, even though we are nature, but we are under the effects of how pollution affects our minds. So it's very important to understand that when we are discussing these things on World Agnihotra Day. So it is wonderful that we have so many people that perform Agnihotra every single day all over the world. This is very important since pollution affects every corner of the planet. And, you know, a lot of areas are having very serious problems. If you have watched the headlines, there have been torrential rains and floods and all sorts of things. And here in the United States, because we live here in the West, you know, we've had train wrecks where certain chemicals have been released into the air and the soil, and things have happened there to have affected the food supply and the water supply, and people have been sick. So Agnihotra is a way to address all these things that are happening um, consistently in our environment, because these things have a cumulative effect on the human body, on all the animals, their bodies too, the water systems, okay, the food system, the food supply. And so it's very important to understand as we are dealing with the food systems that are being affected by various forms of pollution, that Agnihotra is a way to put the nutrients back into the soil and to cleanse the atmosphere. It cleanses the pathogenic bacteria out of the air, it cleanses the water, and it restores soil. So Agnihotra is an ancient Ayurvedic technique that is about purifying and transforming the pollution. So we're talking about being able to heal our soil and grow healthy food. Okay, because everybody wants some delicious food that is healthy for the body, so our bodies can be fortified with nutritious food. Okay, that's really very important. Um, so it's important that those of us that do Agnihotra continue to perform Agnihotra, okay, because our planet really needs it. Our minds really need it. We have to be about purifying the planet, getting the food supply back to its nutritional value, and being back balanced. So Agnihotra is about balancing the soil, balancing the air. Um, and so we really celebrate this knowledge and share this with everyone, because Agnihotra is very important to getting the planet back to where it needs to be. So um, we explained the basic process of Agnihotra, which is the basic homa fire that we perform. It's set to the circadian rhythm of nature. So in nature, as we have talked about many times, we have a biological concept called man, microbes, flora, fauna. So when one of that group is tampered with or destroyed, then everything is tampered with or can be destroyed. So we have to understand what happens to the plant, happens to the soil, it happens to the water, it happens to our air, and it happens to us humans. So the animals, everything is affected, because we're not just a separate thing from that. We are all connected together. And so now we want to talk about the other aspect of Agnihotra, which is the Sanskrit that we chant when we say the mantras, because those are called, what I just said to you is a Sanskrit mantra. All the Agnihotra mantras, and there's two, they're said in the Sanskrit language, and Sanskrit is a vibratory language. Okay, it's a language of creativity, and what that means, that it's about creation and transforming, which is what the basis of mantras are. So you're saying something that is high vibration, as you know, the universe is it lives upon sound and vibration. Okay, so this is part of the purification process that happens when we utter the Sanskrit mantras at sunrise and sunset, which are the Agnihotra times. So it's always said in Sanskrit, because Sanskrit is the highest vibration of communication that brings about a change of transformation and purification for the air, for the soil, for the water, and for humans. So you can only say Agnihotra mantras in Sanskrit. And so we all know that sound affects plants and animals and soil. They have plenty of studies on that. So when you are chanting Sanskrit mantras at Agnihotra time, when you're doing the fire practice, which is what Agnihotra is, we do it with the fire. As we said before, you like cow dung, rice, and ghee. Those are the basic ingredients that we use in a copper pyramid. It has to be copper, a copper pyramid, and it's a certain measurement. And I can give you the measurements if you're not sure with the copper pyramids. But this is part of the healing effect that happens. So at Agnihotra time, there are five gases that are emitted that bring about this purification process. So this is Vedic science, which is the ancient Vedic technology that brings about the change. So the five gases are ethylene oxide, propylene oxide, formaldehyde, butylplancton, and then we have acetylene. So what happens is at Agnihotra time, and we utter the Sanskrit mantra. So like evening Sanskrit mantra, let's give you an example, is Agniye Swaha, Agniye Namama Praja, Patiye Swaha, Praja, Patiye Namama. So as I told you before, when we say Swaha, we put in the brown rice. So when the heat that develops, when we when we have this fire, it produces acetylene. Okay, acetylene is what when you do this offering, acetylene is produced, and this is what sucks in the pollution from the air and cleanses it. So that's the purification process. I just want to explain that so people know that this ancient technology is based on the Vedic science, Ayurveda. Okay, so Vedic science is based on how you deal with yourself as a human being and other people, as well as the planet and the universe. That's the basic of Ayurveda. Okay, and so Agnihotra is a Vedic technology, Vedic science. So I want to explain that to you. There are places where homifiers, Agnihotra is a basic homifier, so we perform Agnihotra and other homifiers, and is able to restore soil. So there's a place in the Amazon where they could not grow food. It had a plant fungus and all of that. And with performing it for, I believe, a couple of months or maybe a little bit longer, they were able to restore the soil and eradicate the plant fungus. And scientists were there along with people that were doing the fires regularly, throughout the day, okay, in the evening. And they were able to restore the soil. So if you live in a place where there's a lot of pollution there and the soil is contaminated, you can perform Agnihotra and other homifiers to restore your soil. Okay, so we have on our website at shantivillainstitute.com, there is a video. We also have on our environmental website, healatmosphere.com, where you can see the video that outlines. This was done in the province in Peru. So this is what we mean by saying that Agnihotra, it connects communities together, because that entire community had to leave from this area because they could not grow food. They could not exist. They could not live where they could not grow food. And so many people live where they grow their food themselves. And they're not, so far removed from the growing process. Now we have a lot of people here in America that are now growing their food. They're setting up urban farms. They're growing things in their backyard or on the windowsill. But in a lot of countries that are developing, okay, they grow their own food. So we're talking about a way to deal with pollution in at-risk communities. So this is how we connect the communities, because if you can grow your own food and deal with the contamination that is in the soil and the air, this is how we heal. And this is how we build our communities to be very strong and connected together. And you can deal with whatever crime challenges you have by bringing everyone together to be a part of healing the soil, okay, and healing the air. We just wanted to talk about that, because when we talk about community development in general, you're thinking about maybe building affordable housing, and maybe you're doing a neighborhood cleanup in areas where there are food deserts, or so-called food swamps, in areas where they don't even have one good grocery store. Then you're talking about making sure that healthy food is there. So community building is different aspects of building a community. And so with Agnihotra, if you're teaching the children and everyone in the neighborhoods to grow healthy food and address these issues, then you have such a beautiful, strong neighborhood and community. And it's centered on healing the planet with the practice of Agnihotra. So this Worldwide Agnihotra Day, we are here to say that anyone can heal their neighborhood and heal the soil with the performance of Agnihotra. If you perform Agnihotra on a regular basis, you will see a wonderful change and a blossoming of just positivity and love within the community. Okay, this is how you are able to do it, and you can get everybody in the community to be involved in this process. Because Agnihotra is very simple to perform. As we said before, you use dried cow dung, you use brown rice, you use ghee, and then you have to perform this in a pyramid, and you do it at sunrise and sunset. And you have heard us speaking today, we've said the sunrise mantra and the evening Agnihotra mantra. Those, it's only 2 mantras that you have to learn. And so this is a way to restore these communities, because the entire world is built of communities of people, and in these communities, this is where everyone's working together. So if you're in an area the pollution is bad and the food system is not good and there's no healthy food and things like that, we are able to address these things with Agnihotra. So in the West, here in the United States, okay, we are dealing with, what happened with the train wreck in Pennsylvania. And so the things have been released in the air and the soil, and all kind of things have died in the area and things like that. So what we're saying is, if you are in that area, you can perform Agnihotra, which is a basic homifier, to address that area. Because from what I understand, it's not just contained to that one area, because the wind blows and the water flows and things like that. So any area that's not even, doesn't have to be real nearby, it's affected. Okay, it's affected. So this is something that you can do. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we can answer your questions. And there we have videos where me and the late Street Charles are doing mantras. We have it on our YouTube channel. I'll post the link underneath the this Facebook Live when it ends, so you can learn the mantras. And like I said, it's just very basic ingredients, natural ingredients, to that we use to bring about this change. And so let us understand that technology has always been around from the beginning of time. What we call technology in our modern times, like, yes, we have all this technology, but ancient technology has been around for a long time. So this is an ancient tool, an ancient technology for us to deal with these modern problems that we created. And so humans, we are the caretakers of the planet, okay? And ultimately, what happens to the planet, it affects us. So our minds are affected by pollution. I've said many times that we breathe in 2,500 gallons of air on a daily basis each day. What do you think happens to your brain if the air is polluted? So we're talking about using ancient technology. Agnihotra is an ancient Vedic technology, okay, to bring about a balance to the world and to clean up this air. It cleanses the pathogenic bacteria, okay? It cleanses the water, okay? It cleanses the soil, puts nutrients back into the soil. So you have, you can restore soil that has been contaminated. Are you listening? It's contaminated soil can be, it can be remediated with the performance of Agnihotra. Okay, so if you're in an area where I know, like in Colorado and Utah, the air quality is very bad, and they have a very high incidence of respiratory problems and even more severe asthma cases in people that are already suffering from asthma. This is a way for you to deal with these health challenges. And of course, there are other health challenges that come about because of the pollution on the planet. Okay, we have more incidences of cancers and um, other ailments because of pollution. And they have plenty of studies that talk about that. Okay, like what happens, they even said during the pandemic, all sorts of things happen more disease wise with humans because we are connected to the planet. So when the planet is unhealthy, then so are we. If we heal the planet, then we are healing ourselves. It's as simple as that. Um, and so this is what we wanted to share on World Agnihotra Day. And so we are very happy of this gift as resuscitated from the Vedas by the Holy Avatar, the Kalki Avatar, Paramasaguru Sri Gajana Maharaj. So um, they knew a long time ago that the problems were happening now would be happening. And so this is the way for every person to be able to address this problem. You can do this in your home. You can do this at your job. You can do this in your car parked somewhere. Okay. This is a way to address the pollution problem. So now, before we leave, we just wanted to say there are many types of pollution. Okay. And all these forms of pollution, they beat down upon the body. So we're talking about not just water pollution. Okay. We're talking about soil pollution, what's happening in the air, electromagnetic pollution. And right now, the prana itself, which is the life force that's around everything, that is polluted. Okay. So everything is off. My daughter was mentioning the other week, she says, Mom, they're now reporting that the earth is spinning faster. But those that are yogis and study Vedic science have known that for a long time. They're now just admitting that the earth is spinning faster because they can't really hide what has happened because of the earth is spinning faster. That affects the gravity. That, the tilt is off with the earth. So you're going to look these things up. This is what they're talking about now. And so when you're performing Agnihotra, the basic homa fire, you're able to address the earth spinning too fast. Okay. And so also with Agnihotra, we don't talk about it often. Well, I've talked about it a few times, but we have weather that is erratic. And of course, that happens from pollution. Okay. So Agnihotra does address these erratic weather patterns. Okay. So when Agnihotra is such a wonderful way to deal with the planetary energy system. This is what we're talking about. This energy system, as we said, we're talking about prana, the life force itself is polluted. Okay. So this affects our thoughts and behaviors because remember, we're creatures of the cycles of the planet. We are directed by that. Okay. So don't think that we're not, we're connected to all of the energy systems of the planet, how the earth spins, the moon. And of course, now because we use GMOs and all these things, just the way that the sun interacts with the plants to produce the nutrients in the plants and just to develop the plants, that is affected. Okay. So when you're talking about electromagnetic pollution and all these things, you're dealing with the very essence of creation. You're dealing with, they do all this tampering with atoms. So you're dealing with quantum physics. You cannot tamper with all that. And Vedic teachers, they talk about this. You cannot tamper with the atom and tamper with how plants are grown, how the sun activates the plants, because the sun is the activator, activating the plants, and it activates the human bodies. Okay. So these are things that we can address with the regular performance of Agnihotra. And please know that Agnihotra, this is something your entire family can do. So those of us that are regularly perform Agnihotra, the effects. So whatever challenges the family has, it'll be less bickering. Okay. Everybody will be filled with love, and you will come up with peaceful solutions to whatever challenges that your family may have. So this is what we know from the experience. So we would love for those that are not performing Agnihotra to perform Agnihotra, okay, and have the experience of love and rejuvenation, okay? Because when we're talking about taking care of the planet, we're talking about restoring everything to your body and to your awareness, to get rid of these things that don't serve you. If you're angry all the time, or you have a hard time forgiving a family member, you're mad at your mother or your father, or you're holding to some previous trauma, this is the time when you're doing Agnihotra that you reflect and you study yourself, and you're able to reset yourself while you're resetting the planetary cycle. You're resetting yourself back to being full of love, because love is the highest vibration in the universe. This is how the universe and how the planet survives. That is why we chant the Sanskrit mantras, so we can up our vibration. Okay? And you are walking around vibrating with so much love, and the planets and the trees and the animals, they rejoice because they feed off the vibration. Okay, love is the highest vibration of the universe. So that's what we wanted to share with you today on World Agnihotra Day. And for those that do not practice Agnihotra, feel free to message me privately, or you can post something underneath this Facebook Live, so we can get you some more information. You can go to our websites, shantivilla institute.com is our main website, and then we also have Heal the Atmosphere Association, which is our main environmental website. But we're so blessed to be able to share this information with everyone about how wonderful and transforming the practice of Agnihotra is for everyone. And like I said, there's so many people that perform Agnihotra worldwide. This is just something to celebrate, not just on World Agnihotra Day, but every single day, that this gift that God has given us to be able to deal with the pollution that is on the planet, because you don't have to despair. There's a way to address this if we work together. And Agnihotra, it connects communities. It connects us all to our fellow brothers and sisters. And this is what we wanted to share today on World Agnihotra Day. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you the next time. Have a very blessed week, and we'll talk to you later.